This single skill is creating millionaires online when everybody that's struggling simply won't do it, like they refuse to work at it. When this single skill is the separator between having a successful business online and having a unsuccessful business online. And this skill has made me over 7 figures online in my business with just one digital product, doing a little over 900K. Now, I know the suspense is killing you. What is that skill? Drum roll, please. The skill is communication. Now, it may sound simple because it is simple, and it's just mind-boggling to me the amount of people that don't just work on this single simple skill. And in this video, I'm gonna show you how you can work on this skill and develop it quickly so you can turn your words into dollars. Not marketing, not sales, not management, not some technology or some AI stuff. Communication is what you need to be working on, and communication will change your life in any aspect, whether that be personal relationships, friendships, but most importantly in business. And it's only gonna take me about 5 minutes to break this down. So if you don't have 5 minutes to spare, then just keep on using your words the wrong way, and just keep wasting your breath with your words, and just keep on having your words not take you to the places that you want to be, when all that you need is words. So if that's you, just click off this video and keep on babbling about nothing to everybody for no reason at all. But look, when I really say that communication is what will change your life, I mean that. Communication is the number one thing that I work on. Communication is the number one thing that I spend the majority of my time on. That is the main reason why I've been able to build successful business after successful business. Now, look, I know that I speak to entrepreneurs and aspiring entrepreneurs, but even just look at the 9-to-5 workplace. Who makes the most money at the job? The people that are effective communicators. So if I use the greatest show of all time, The Office, as an example, think everybody at the office, they work at a paper company named Dunder Mifflin, right? Who makes the most money at Dunder Mifflin? Is it the guys that are down in the factory loading the trucks, putting the paper on the trucks? Or is it somebody like Jim, who they wanted to rise up through the company ranks because he's on the phone making sales all day, right? So most people, they think that, okay, well, I need to work on my selling skills. In that situation that I gave that example for, no, you need to work on your communication skills, because the people that work the phones that drive the sales, which drives the revenue to the company that lets the guys down in the basement put the paper on the truck, because these guys on the phone have sold the paper that they're putting on the truck. They're effective communicators. So even in the 9-to-5 workplace, people that are at a lower level in the job, typically they're people that are doing mundane tasks or physical tasks that doesn't technically require skill, right? You just need a body for the job. They always point their finger at the people that are working the phones, or the person that is the manager or the supervisor or whatever. Whoever it is that they deem does less work than them, they get mad at that. And they're like, I do way more work than they do. Yeah, but your work isn't actually generating revenue for the company. Their words are generating revenue for the company. Therefore, they get more money. It's the same exact thing online. And all these people out here that are trying to grow their businesses online, they're focused on everything outside of working on becoming an effective communicator, when that is going to be the key to everything that you want in life, and especially in business. You have to be an effective communicator, because just think about this. This is all that business and entrepreneurship is, period. We are in the problem-solving business. That's it. All that we have to do as an entrepreneur is come up with a solution to somebody else's problem. And once we have that solution, we have to effectively communicate to that person that we have the solution that they are searching for. Yet everybody out here is trying to figure out all of these marketing strategies and all of these sales tips and the marketing this and digital marketing that and sales this and sales that. Just work on effectively communicating your solution to somebody else's problem. That's as simple as this stuff is. And I love that word simple because we have to keep it simple if we want to succeed. Simple scales and fancy fails. What most entrepreneurs and aspiring entrepreneurs are doing is that they're just making stuff extremely too difficult and extremely too complicated and extremely too complex when you just keep it simple. And the simple things are way, way, way easier to scale. So if we know that we have to become an effective communicator to simply just communicate to our target customer that we have a solution to their problem, how do we become a better communicator? People ask me this literally every single week. And I respond to them, have you communicated with anybody lately? Guess what they all tell me? No. So how do you think you can become a better communicator? How do you think that you can work on your communication skills and you're not communicating with anybody? Everybody's out here trying to figure out ways to do stuff without talking to people. You gotta talk, you got a mouth, use it. Do you know how to use your mouth? Speak, talk, holla, All right, and the number one way that I have worked on my communication skills throughout the years is by doing what I'm doing right now, creating content, right? So think about this. What other way can I speak to more people on a frequent basis outside of creating content? Currently, as I'm recording this video, I have a small YouTube channel. My small YouTube channel has gotten over 100,000 views within the past 28 days, right? So what other opportunity am I going to have to whereas I have access to thousands of people to communicate a message to them on a consistent, frequent basis? So a lot of people, they're out here trying to do everything outside of putting their face out there and communicating with people, or there's this trend that everybody's focused on right now of making faceless channels. Can you teach me how to make a faceless channel on YouTube? I say, no. They say, why not? And I say, well, if you think of what YouTube is, it's called YouTube. People are tuning in to YouTube for you, yet you are trying to do everything outside of putting you on your YouTube. And then I break this down to them. I say, you want to run this faceless channel? Are there any faceless channels that you connect with? Are there any faceless channels to where you're really connected with the brand? And every single person that's out here telling you to make a faceless channel, you're not listening to a faceless channel tell you to make the faceless channel. You're listening to somebody's face communicate to you to make the faceless channel. Why aren't they telling you to do this from a faceless channel? Because they know you ain't about to listen to it. All right, but that's a whole topic for another video. But what other place can we communicate with masses of people on a consistent, frequent basis outside of these social media platforms or our YouTube that we have access to in the palm of our hands? We literally have a satellite device that connects us to the entire globe within an instant. We can communicate to however many people that we want. Now, outside of creating content, which is the number one way to work on your communication skills, a lot of people, once I tell them this, they say, okay, but I don't know what I would say in content. And I'm like, oh, you are at the right place at the right time, because I can fix that for you. So the number one way that I work on my communication skills to speak to my target customers through my actual content is that I make sure that I learn something new every single day. Read. The best way that you can work on your communication skills is to read, right? But don't just read for reading's sake, because I honestly think that reading is a waste of time for majority of people, right? Because I don't read for the actual pleasure of reading. I don't enjoy reading, but I know that there's information and there's knowledge that I'm seeking, so I read for that. But the reason why I say that reading is a waste of time for majority of people, because I learned how the author game works, right? People that are looking to write books to make money, they don't really put value in books like that. So somebody that's looking to find a publisher, their publisher will tell them that their book has to be X amount of words. Therefore, an author will just stretch out a book, make it longer as possible. The book could really only be 33 pages to get the point across. Yet they make a book that is 250 pages, just reiterating what could have been said in 33 pages over and over and over and over again, so they can hit the minimum word count that their publisher needs. Right? So that's why I say that reading is a waste of time for most people. And then also, it's a waste of time for most people because people aren't going out and seeking targeted knowledge that they actually need. They're going out and they're just reading books because they've heard somebody recommend the book, right? So once I realized this years ago, I was hearing somebody, they recommended this book called Traction. I believe the book's called Traction. I think the author's name is Gino Wickman. And I was listening to this interview and I heard this person recommend this book, and I was like, oh, this person's successful. They recommended this book. Let me go and read this book. And I realized it was a waste of time, because right on the cover in the subtitles, it says something like this book is for business owners who have a management team of at least like 20 people or something like that. And I was a solopreneur at the time. And then when I really look back and I reflected on it, I'm like, why the heck am I reading a management book designed for people with teams of at least 20 to 25 employees and I have 0 employees? Complete waste of time. But when you choose to actually learn something every single day, or make a decision to learn something every single day, and you're going and looking for actual information and knowledge for where you are at right now, currently in your life, what you want to do is write about what you actually read. Look, this is something that I do every single day. I write every single day. Now, for me, I like the feeling of having the pen and the paper, and I like having it written down because I can go back in the future and I can go back and look at the things that I've actually wrote in the past and have new ideas and new thoughts to where I currently am now. Or I can go back to the past, go back to some stuff that I wrote to come up with some new ideas, whether it be for content or whether it be for some type of product creation or whatever it is that I'm doing, right? But I don't just take notes about what I actually read. When I write down in my notebook from stuff that I'm learning or stuff that I'm reading, I write down what it made me think. I don't write down what the author put. I don't write down what the author thought. I write down what I think from what the author is writing, right? And I also do this on interviews or podcasts or YouTube videos, right? I'll sit down and I'll take notes on some content that I'm consuming, but I'm not taking notes from what they're saying. I'm taking notes about what they are saying is making me think. So I have notebooks full of thoughts that I have based off of a thought that somebody else had. Then guess what that does for me? Now I have my own Aston CEO thoughts. And then I create content based off of my thoughts and its individually owned Aston CEO content. Right? But then I'm working on that communication skills also, because I'm telling you what my thoughts are on a particular subject, but I know it's 100% my thoughts. So this may sound confusing to you. So I'll give you a real life example in real time. And it's crazy that I grabbed this notebook instead of I got a Batman notebook here too. Right? But this is meant to be that I grabbed this one because I definitely didn't think of this. So on the cover of my notebook here, it's a Spider-Man notebook, and it says, with great power comes great responsibility. Right? That's a Uncle Ben quote. If you're not familiar with Spider-Man, Uncle Ben, Spider-Man's uncle, he told Peter Parker, who is Spider-Man, he said, Peter, with great power comes great responsibility. Right? So if I hear Uncle Ben say this, with great power comes great responsibility, I will write down what that made me think. And when I see with great power comes great responsibility, and I'm working on what I'm working on and I'm building what I'm building, my thought is with influence comes great responsibility. So move with integrity, because as you build an audience, you will have more people following you than a church. And look through history and look how people have been manipulated through a church. And you don't want to manipulate people, you actually want to help people. Boom. That is an Aston CEO thought that comes to my mind when I think with great power comes great responsibility. Then I'm going to create some content talking about how when you build an audience, build your audience with integrity, because people are going to come to know, like, and trust you, and people are going to believe in your word the more content that you create and the more consistent that you are and the more frequency that you produce for them. And your personal brand is the most valuable thing that you own. And it takes time to build somebody's trust, but you can break it all down within an instant. So move with integrity and don't just think about making money, think about actually helping people. Because as an entrepreneur, if we genuinely obsess on coming up with a solution to somebody else's problem, they will pay us for that solution, and that will be an equal value proposition, and everybody will be happy, and you'll have a good name forever, right? That would be like some content that I would make. But all of that would come from me reading, with great power comes great responsibility. I like that. But what does it make me think? And I do this when I'm reading. I do this when I'm watching podcasts. I do this when I'm watching YouTube videos. I do this when I'm having actual conversations just with people, right? I might be having a conversation with my daddy and he tells me some stuff. I'm like, dang, and I go and I write down the thought in my book, in my notebook. And then I'm like, I really like how my daddy said that. What does it make me think? Then I have a whole slew of ideas like that. And then I communicate my thought process through my content to people. Because I learned a lot of stuff from my pops, and I learned a lot of stuff from my mama too. And the most of the stuff that I learned from my parents, it's not actual stuff that they teach me. It's stuff that I catch. A lot of stuff in life, it's caught, not taught. So something that comes to example for me is my pops, he always told me that it's easy to get in trouble, but it's hard as hell to get out of it, right? What does that thought process make me think? He's also told me throughout my life, especially when I was younger and like in high school and stuff, and he's recently told me this a couple months ago. But when I was in high school, he would tell me that he was very proud of me for the friends that I selected. And as I got older, and he would say it to me when I got older, and I started to have this thought process, I was like, what does that make me think? He's proud of me for the friends that I selected. Oh, well, people say that you are a product of your environment, but you actually get to select your environment once you get to a certain age. So he's proud of me for picking the right people to have in my environment, because when he was young, he went a lot of wrong ways because of the people that he selected, right? So I can say, well, if I know that I'm going to be a product of my environment and I have access to the entire world through social media, through content, I get to select my environment, because what you tune into, you turn into, and what entertains you, trains you. So now I have a complete individual Aston CEO thought about how conversation changes compensation. And I can now create content to present to the marketplace about how you can choose to be who you want to be around. So if you don't feel as if you are in a productive environment, it's your fault. Because once you get past a certain age, you get to designate all that stuff. You get to designate who it is that you talk about. You get to designate the conversations that come around. Because like I said, conversation changes compensation. And what you tune into, you turn into, and what entertains you, trains you. And now that's my entire thought, but that all came from hearing my pops say, I'm proud of you for who you chose to be your friend. Write that down. But what did that make me think about it? And then I share that thought. And then once you do it over and over and over again, because the only way that you get better at stuff is through consistency, all of a sudden you start to speak. And then people start to say, whoa, I wish I could talk like you. Whoa, I wish I could tell stories like you. Whoa, how do you work on your communication skills? And I'm the guy that people used to make fun of for how they talk. But now I'm highly paid to talk. Funny how that stuff works, right? And I'm telling you, when you work on this single skill of communication, you get numbers coming in online in your business like all them that you see on the screen right now. So if you're ready to make more working less online from stuff that you already know, go ahead and click the link down in the description. Join this Credit at the Top community. For weekly coaching from myself, all of my exclusive trainings, plus a private community and entrepreneurs, all designed to grow your business online. It's only $47 a month to join right now. That's less than a cup of coffee per day. So click the link down in the description and tap in, and I'll see you on our coaching call this Wednesday. But I'm telling you, this single skill of communication, if you just focus on coming up with a solution to somebody else's problem, and then effectively communicate to that person that you have that solution, you'll be able to make so much money online, and it'll be replicatable. You can do it again and again and again and again and again, and it actually starts to become easier. And that's how you can actually start to make more money while working less. Because once you come up with that solution to somebody's problem, you do it that one time, you package it up into a vehicle of a digital product that can just be downloaded online. And then all that you have to do is communicate to the market that you have that solution, and you can communicate to the masses online. And then you have that product right there available to whereas the masses can download that product. There's not that much work that you have to put into it. But you do have to work on yourself, your personal development, and acquiring new skills and working on those skill sets as you acquire them. But the most important one is communication. So go ahead and click the link down in the description if you want to tap into the community. And I'll see you on our coaching call this Wednesday. And go ahead and check out this video right here for the type of content to make to communicate your message to your actual target audience. It's crowded at the top.